Welcome back, horror fans. Tonight, we're pulling you into your nightmares, literally. In 1984, Wes Craven unleashed a nightmare on Elm Street, a movie that forever changed horror. Freddy Krueger wasn't just another slasher. He was a killer who invaded the one place we're supposed to feel safe, our dreams. But what happened behind the scenes is almost as strange as the movie itself. Fact 1. Freddy was inspired by real deaths in dreams. Wes Craven didn't invent Freddy out of thin air. He based the idea on real-life reports of people dying in their sleep. In the late 70s and early 80s, newspapers reported cases of young men, mostly Southeast Asian refugees, who refused to sleep because they claimed something was hunting them in their dreams. Doctors found nothing wrong until these men suddenly died in their sleep. One victim even had a coffee pot hidden in his closet to stay awake. When he finally fell asleep, he screamed, thrashed, and died before doctors could save him. That chilling story became the foundation for Freddy Krueger. And speaking of Freddy, stick around, because fact number 3 reveals why his sweater alone can make your brain uncomfortable without you even realizing it. Fact 2. Freddy's name came from Wes Craven's childhood bully. The name Freddy Krueger wasn't random. Craven revealed that as a child, he was bullied by a kid named Fred Krueger. In fact, Craven had already used the name once before, as a villain in his earlier film, The Last House on the Left. He was so haunted by that childhood memory that he immortalized it twice. Freddy was Craven's way of giving his childhood tormentor a permanent place in horror history. Fact 3. Freddy's sweater was designed to hurt your eyes. Why red and green stripes? It wasn't just for Christmas vibes gone wrong. Craven chose the color scheme after reading a scientific article that claimed red and green are the hardest colors for the human eye to process side by side. That clash creates a subconscious sense of unease, so every time you see Freddy's sweater, your brain is quietly disturbed, even if you don't realize it. Fact 4. Robert Englund almost didn't play Freddy. It's impossible to imagine anyone but Robert Englund as Freddy, but he almost wasn't cast. Producers originally wanted a stuntman to play the role, treating Freddy more like a faceless killer. Englund fought for the part, insisting that Freddy needed personality, a mix of menace and dark humor. His audition? He smeared cigarette ash under his eyes, mussed up his hair, and acted creepy as hell. The rest is history. Fact 5. Freddy's voice came from animal growls. That guttural, menacing Freddy voice? Englund and Craven didn't want it to sound like a regular guy. They experimented with recordings of animals growling, especially big cats like tigers. Englund lowered his own pitch and added a rasp to mimic those sounds, creating Freddy's inhuman growl. It worked so well that Freddy immediately stood apart from other 80s slashers. And if you thought the voice was scary, just wait for fact number 7, where one actress nearly passed out during a stunt that was filmed in a room that literally turned upside down. Fact 6. Freddy's glove was inspired by cats. The razor glove is Freddy's most iconic weapon. Craven said he designed it after studying cats extending their claws. He wanted something primal, something that felt like a natural extension of an animal. The glove was built from real knives welded onto a leather glove. It was so sharp that Englund accidentally cut himself several times while practicing. Crew members had to be careful whenever the glove was on set. It was less of a prop and more of a weapon. Fact 7. The hallway of blood was real and dangerous. Remember the scene where Tina's body is dragged up the walls and across the ceiling? That wasn't CGI. The filmmakers built a rotating room set and bolted furniture to the walls. The crew flipped the room upside down while actress Amanda Weiss was strapped in. The blood pouring everywhere? Real liquid. It was so dangerous that Weiss nearly passed out from disorientation. Crew members said the entire set smelled like coppery fake blood for weeks afterward. Fact 8. Johnny Depp got his role by accident. Yes, A Nightmare on Elm Street launched Johnny Depp's career, but he wasn't supposed to audition. Depp tagged along with a friend who wanted the role. Casting director Annette Benson thought Depp looked too shy, but Wes Craven's teenage daughter saw his photo and said, "That's the one you should hire. He's dreamy." Craven listened and cast Depp as Glenn. That decision gave Depp his very first acting role, kicking off one of Hollywood's biggest careers. Fact 9. Glenn's death almost destroyed the set. Glenn's bed, death, where blood gushes like a geyser, is one of horror's greatest kills, but it nearly ended in disaster. The scene was filmed using the same rotating room set as Tina's scene. They poured hundreds of gallons of fake blood into the upside-down set, but the liquid hit the lights, causing a dangerous electrical short. Sparks flew, and crew members were nearly electrocuted. The blood sprayed everywhere, staining the set permanently. Craven said it looked so chaotic, he almost thought about scrapping it. Instead, it became the film's most famous shot. Fact 10. Freddy was barely in the movie. Here's a weird fact. Freddy Krueger, the character everyone remembers, only has about 7 minutes of screen time in the entire film. Craven deliberately limited Freddy's presence to make him scarier. Like Jaws, the less you see of the monster, the more terrifying it becomes. It worked. Freddy became unforgettable, even though he was barely there. Fact 11. The boiler room wasn't a set.
Who are you?
The boiler room where Freddy stalks his victims wasn't a Hollywood set. It was filmed in an actual boiler room of a condemned building. The place was filled with asbestos, dust, and dripping pipes. Crew members had to wear masks when not filming. Englund said the location itself felt cursed, adding to the unease. Fact 12. The movie was shot in just 30 days. Unlike The Shining's year-long marathon, Nightmare on Elm Street was filmed at lightning speed, just 30 days. That's partly why some stunts were so risky. There was no time to overthink safety. The rushed schedule meant long nights, little sleep, and a frantic pace that mirrored the story itself. Fact 13. Freddy's makeup took hours, every day. To transform Robert Englund into Freddy, makeup artists used thick latex prosthetics. It took 3 to 4 hours every morning to apply the burns, scars, and peeling skin. Englund said he often fell asleep in the makeup chair. Ironic, considering Freddy's whole deal. The design was inspired by medical photos of actual burn victims, giving Freddy's look a disturbing realism. Fact 14. The studio almost went bankrupt before release. Nightmare on Elm Street was produced by New Line Cinema, which was a tiny studio at the time. In fact, the crew jokingly called it the house that Freddy built. Why? Because New Line had sunk everything into the film. If it failed, the studio would have gone bankrupt. Instead, the film became a smash hit, earning $57 million on a $1.8 million budget. Freddy didn't just kill teenagers, he saved a movie studio. But money wasn't the only thing Freddy was stealing. In fact number 17, you'll hear how his infamous glove actually vanished off set. Fact 15. The tongue phone almost didn't happen.
What?
I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy.
The infamous scene where Nancy answers the phone and Freddy's tongue licks her face was a late addition. Craven wanted something deeply unsettling but slightly absurd, something that blurred the line between nightmare and reality. The prop phone was fitted with a fake rubber tongue coated in slime. Heather Langenkamp's disgusted reaction, completely real. Fact 16. Nancy's house still exists. Kind of. Nancy's iconic Elm Street house is actually located in Los Angeles, not Ohio. Fans still visit the property, though the owners have repainted it and made changes. It remains one of horror's most recognizable filming locations, standing as a piece of cinematic history. Fact 17. Freddy's glove was stolen.
This is God.
After filming Wrapped, one of the original Freddy gloves mysteriously disappeared from the set. It later resurfaced years later in A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. Nobody knows who took it or how it ended up back in New Line's hands. Fans still speculate about whether the missing glove was quietly passed around like cursed memorabilia. Fact 18. Wes Craven's daughter saved the ending.
I'm not doing it! What's going on with the window?
The original script ended with Nancy defeating Freddy once and for all. But the studio wanted a twist ending that left room for sequels. Craven resisted, until his teenage daughter suggested a compromise. Let Nancy think she's won, then reveal Freddy is still out there. That's how we got the eerie final scene with the car roof slamming shut and Freddy pulling Nancy's mom through the door. Fact 19. Freddy was originally a child molester. In Craven's early drafts, Freddy wasn't just a child murderer, he was also a molester. But because of several real-life child abuse cases dominating headlines at the time, the studio asked Craven to tone it down. They didn't want the movie accused of exploiting current events, so Freddy's backstory was rewritten. But his creepiness still carries that sinister implication. Fact 20. Freddy almost looked completely different.
What?
In early concept art, Freddy wasn't burned at all. He was sketched as a disfigured hobo with rotting teeth and glowing eyes. It was only after studying burn victims that Craven decided Freddy's scars should look melted and uneven, as if his skin was forever stuck between flesh and ash. That choice made him one of the most recognizable monsters in horror. So there you have it. From real deaths that inspired Freddy, to dangerous sets, to Johnny Depp's unlikely debut, the making of this film was almost as nightmarish as the movie itself. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss another trip into horror history. And remember, whatever you do, don't fall asleep.